welcome back to the channel. Let's talk more about building and maintaining habits. One of the things that can complicate habit development is schedule change. And today is a great example of that for me. Usually when I record these videos, I record them later in the night so that I can record them, do some of the things that I still have on my plate, and then go to bed, wake up, they automatically upload. But today is an exception because I've got a lot going on in the evening. So instead of waiting until the evening where my schedule is more chaotic, I pushed the recording of this video to the morning where I knew that I had a little bit of time. Sometimes schedule change is predictable. Your boss tells you a week or two in advance that you need to come in on a different work schedule, or a family gathering or a holiday or something is anticipated in the future. You can plan for it. Other times, your schedule is going to change in unexpected and unanticipated ways. And as we develop these habits, we want to prepare for that unexpected change. When your schedule changes unexpectedly, you have the option to abandon the habits and goals that you're trying to abandon, or to shift the way that you're trying to accomplish those habits and goals. So for me today, the easiest way for me to accomplish the goal of recording a video every day was simply to change it in my schedule to be earlier in the morning. So this principle applies regardless of what your goal or habit that you're trying to develop is. Say you're trying to read more, and your normal reading time is, for instance, at 6 o'clock every night, and you set aside maybe an hour, maybe half an hour, maybe just 10 minutes to read, and something comes up. You've got family in town, you've got an emergency. All of a sudden, your habit is thrown out the window. Obviously, I don't think that's gonna make or break your habit if you miss it on a single day. However, you might benefit from thinking about the situation slightly differently. So instead of saying, using this reading example, that I have failed my goal if I don't read for 15 or 30 minutes or an hour, whatever your goal was. Instead, we can reframe the situation and say, while I might not have as much time as I would like, I can still read. Or in my case, I can still make a video. I think often we get caught up in this goal when we're trying to implement habits. It has to be a perfect way, the way that I've described it in my brain, or it's not gonna happen. And sometimes that's because we are not specific enough in our goals, like using that reading example. If I want to read and I don't explain how much I want to read in a particular day, I succeed if I read at all, right? But I can also be frustrated if I don't read as much as I want to. And so I think we need to give ourselves a little bit of grace in times of busyness, in times of erratic schedule change, to adapt our habits to our new schedules. So try not to be disappointed this week if your schedule changes unexpectedly and you still want to maintain your habit or goal. I want to infuse a little bit of biblical truth into this video, and there's a verse in Proverbs that hits this topic exactly. It's Proverbs 6:6, and it's a pretty popular one. You may or may not have heard it. It says, in the Net Translation, which is the Bible that I read every morning when I wake up, it says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard, observe her ways and be wise." In this proverb, the author is asking the observer, the reader, to do something very practical. Go outside, find an ant, and watch it. What does it do? Are there periods where that ant just sits and does nothing? Or is it constantly on the move, providing for its colony? And obviously the answer is the latter. I don't believe that this verse is meant to encourage people to just be overly busy, but on the other hand, to look at the structured lives of a creature like an ant and say, wow, I actually do have enough time in my day to attain the goals that I'm trying to attain. So a related complaint with the idea of schedule change is the claim that you or I don't have enough time to do the thing that we want to do, to implement the habit or goal that we want to try out for this year or this week or this month or whatever. I've definitely said that myself many times. I don't necessarily think that it's true. I think that we have enough time in every day to do the things that we want to do. Whatever your habit is, I believe that you have time for it. You might just have to adapt your parameters. So if your goal, to use mine as an example again, because I don't know all of yours, to bike for 20 miles a day. That is an hour and a half commitment at this current pace that I ride. If you don't have an hour and a half to commit to that every single day, adopting my goal would be a bad idea for you. That doesn't mean that you should abandon the idea of biking in this case altogether, because you do have enough time to bike, even if it's just 5 minutes a day. By implementing such a small change, you're beginning to change how your brain is structured. Your brain is immensely capable of change. It's just a slow process. So a question to ask while you're wrestling with the time that you have to do these habits or goals is, what do you typically spend your time doing? So if you come home and spend 3 hours watching TV or 3 hours playing video games or whatever amount of time doing anything, you're prioritizing that thing. If you want to prioritize this new habit or goal, your other priorities are going to have to shift. So as you go about your day, just think, what am I currently prioritizing? What goals do I want to implement? And how can I shift my priorities to accomplish those goals? And as you develop these habits, the threat of schedule change is not going to be as significant. So I've been Matt. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow for another daily video. Bye.
Push the button.
I'm pushing the button.
Push the button.
Pushing the button.
Push the button.
I'm pushing the button.
Push the button.
Push the button.